Hello and welcome friends. In this particular video, we are going to have a very comprehensive understanding of differences in constitutional schemes of United States and India with respect to the presidential office. So let's get started. Okay. So first we will see the manner of election of Indian and US president. So we all know US president is directly elected, but the electoral college, if you will see, of Indian president, it comprises of elected representatives of Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, and the state legislative assembly. So the people of India do not have any direct involvement in election of Indian president. So that is why it is an indirect election. Okay. Head of the state. Who is the head of the state? So both US president and Indian president are the head of their respective states, but US president is also the head of the government in United States, but Indian president is only the head of the state but not the head of the government, because we all know the head of the government in India is Indian prime minister, who is elected directly by the people. Okay. So that is why president of US is the real executive, or what we call the de facto executive. But Indian president is just a titular head, a de jure executive, much like the British monarch. Okay, and the Indian prime minister is the de facto executive or the real executive in India. Okay, so if we will talk about the term of office, if we will compare the term of office, American president has 4-year term and he can be re-elected but only once. Okay, so we all know Barack Obama was elected twice and he was there in office for 8 years in US. Okay, so 8 years is the maximum time limit for which a person in United States can hold US presidential office. But in India, the tenure of Indian president is 5 years, and he is eligible for re-election any number of times. So there is no maximum time limit for which an Indian can be, holding Indian presidential office. There is no maximum time limit. Okay, but in case of America, there is a time limit of 8 years. Okay. Now talking about relation with legislature, US president is not part of any legislature because United States practice a rigid separation of power. That is, there is a rigid separation between legislature and the executive. Whereas in India, president is the part of parliament, because Indian Parliament consists of the President and the two houses, namely Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, whereas in US, President has no role to play with the Congress, that is the House of Representative and the Senate. Okay. Now, if you will look at the emergency powers of the two, state heads, we will find that Indian president has huge powers during emergency situations. Okay, he can proclaim both external and internal emergencies. We all know this is war plus external aggression or armed rebellion. Then President of India is authorized to proclaim national emergency under Article 352, and also he can declare emergency in a state, dissolve a state legislature and dismiss the state council of ministers, exercising power under Article 356. In addition to all this, there is also financial emergency, provision of financial emergency in India, in which the president has the power to reduce the salaries of all the government officials. And this also includes the Supreme Court and High Court judges. This is exercised under Article 360, which is called financial emergency. So, in all, there is a formidable list of executive, financial, and legislative powers which the President of India can exercise, but only on the advice of cabinet. Okay, during emergency. Here, I have not mentioned, the emergency powers of the United States President. This doesn't mean that the President of United States have no any emergency power. He has emergency power, but unlike Indian Constitution, which explicitly mentions the emergency powers that can be enjoyed by the President of India, as we have already seen under Article 352, 356, and 360. US constitution does not specifically includes any comprehensive separate regime for emergencies. Okay, so president has the power in United States to declare emergency, and I must tell you one thing, that president in United States has complete discretion to issue an emergency declaration. Okay, but he must specify in the declaration which powers he intends to use, and he has to issue public updates if he decides to invoke additional powers, and report he has to report to Congress on government emergency related expenditure. So and he has to do it every 6 months. So there is no some sort of explicit mention in United States Constitution about emergency powers of American president. But in India, we have an explicit mention of what sort of powers Indian president can enjoy during emergency. So there are emergency powers to both, and uh, I must one thing I must tell you, that why there are emergency powers given to the executives in the constitution of most of the world. This is because this premise of giving emergency power is lies, the premise behind this is very simple. The government's ordinary powers might be insufficient in a crisis, and amending the law to provide greater ones must be might be too slow and cumbersome. So emergency powers are meant to give the government a temporary boost until the emergency passes, or there is time to change the law through normal legislative process. So that is why there is some sort of emergency power to deal with some extraordinary circumstances. Okay, so looking at the impeachment process of the United States and Indian president, I must tell you one thing, that the impeachment process of Indian president, the process has been adopted from American Constitution itself, but it is not a photocopy of that. It has been There has been certain modifications in the impeachment process of Indian president. So first we will look into the process of impeachment of Indian president. So the charges on which Indian president can be impeached is violation of constitution. And this resolution regarding the impeachment of president can be moved in any house, given that 1/4 of the members of that house has signed on the resolution, and a 14 days prior notice has been given to the president. Okay, now if this resolution is passed by a special majority in the house in which it has been introduced, then it is sent to the other house. Okay, which investigate the charges, and if the other house again passes this resolution with a special majority, the president stands impeached in India. Okay. Now, in US president, the charges are multiple: the treason, bribery, or other high crimes of misdemeanors. Look, violation of constitution is not defined in Indian constitution whether what constitutes the violation of constitution. Similarly, what this constitute high crimes of misdemeanors is not defined in United States constitution. So it has been totally left on the discretion of parliament or the Congress in case of United States to decide whether what constitutes this violation of constitution. Okay, in United States, unlike India, only House of Representatives, that is lower house, can initiate this resolution to impeach the president. And if it passes in the resolution through simple majority, the process moves to the trial, and then the trial begins. Here is a peculiar case in United States. This Chief Justice of United States presides over the presides over this trial, but in India, Chief Justice of India has no role to play. Okay, in impeachment process of the president, this is a big difference here. So president in when trial begins can appoint defense and lawyers, defense lawyers. Okay, at the end of trial, Senate, if it passes two-third, if it passes the impeachment resolution with two-third majority, the president, and find the president guilty, the president is impeached. So there is some sort of complications, and the impeachment process in United States is a little more sophisticated than what we have in India, because first only this House of Representative can do it. And secondly, okay, Chief Justice of United States has a role to play, but in India, CJI has no role. And secondly, the Senate, the first it will pass in Senate, House of Representatives, then it has to pass in Senate, and then the President, gets impeached in United States. So there is some sort of difference in the impeachment process of United States and the Indian President, despite knowing the fact that we have adopted this impeachment process from United States Constitution itself. Okay. Now, if we will talk about the independence of office of United States President and the Indian President, the Indian President needs to act as per the advice of the Council of Ministers. Okay, the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, which was brought in 1976, you know, it made obligatory on the part of president to abide by the advice of council of ministers, the aid and advice of council of ministers. But it was in 44th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1978 when president was allowed once to send back the president can ask the council of ministers to reconsider the advice that has been rendered by them. But once this council of ministers again comes up with the same advice, the president has no other option but to agree with what the council of ministers is are advising him. He has to act according to that. So the council of ministers take all the decisions pertaining to the affairs of the country in case of India, and executes them under the presidency, because president is the uh, you know nominal head in our country. In case of United States, if you will see, members of cabinet are not the members of Congress. That is, they are not the part of legislation. So they are not responsible to it. And in India, Council of Ministers is responsible to Lok Sabha. We all know this. But in America, this is not the situation. The cabinet members are appointed by the president and they are liable to be dismissed by the president. Okay, so the president of America is fully empowered to hire and fire anyone he wants to be in cabinet. If he wants to be some person in cabinet, he can appoint him, and if he wants to hire him, he want to, expel him from the Congress. Cabinet. He can do it at any time. Okay. American president has the power to determine the policy of his government independently without any external interference. Okay, this is not the case in India, because Indian president, again I repeat, is just a titular head. Okay, so if we will talk about the veto power, comparing the veto power of Indian and US president, you will see, so veto power, first we know that veto power is of two types. One is regular veto, okay, and the second is pocket veto. First, we will look into the regular veto power of Indian and US president. Indian president has comparatively lesser veto power when it comes to regular veto than the president of US. The president of US can veto a bill passed by the Congress. Okay, he needs to sign the bill if it once again passed by two-third majority of both the houses. This is called qualified veto. Means once the president has returned the bill, if it is again passed by two-third majority, the president has no option but to give assent to the bill. In case of Indian president, he has only a qualified veto, sorry, suspensive veto, which means that if once he is returning the bill, if the bill again passes with a simple majority, he has no option but to sign the bill. Okay, this is called the suspensive veto, which the Indian president enjoys. So the qualified veto is, of course, greater than the suspensive veto, because it requires two-third majority passing again the bill which was uh, given back by the president to reconsider. Okay, now if we will talk about the pocket veto, the US president can exercise his pocket veto by not signing the bill for just 10 days. So for a maximum of 10 days, US president can delay a bill. Okay, and if he knows, and he does it only if he knows the session of the Congress will end within 10 days. So in that scenario, he exercises such power, and in such cases the bill dies. Okay, But Indian president, can keep the bill for indefinite period, and there is no constitutionally prescribed time limit to give his assent. That is why Indian president's pocket is greater than US president's pocket. This is called that Indian president pocket is greater than the US president pocket, because US president can delay bill just for 10 days, but Indian president can delay it for indefinite period, because there is no mention of any time limit in the constitution itself. Okay. Now, in terms of state bills, certain state bills need to be previous consent of the president in India. Okay. And in those bills, he possesses absolute veto power. Okay. But the US president does not have such powers, because we all know that in United States there is a strong federation. There is a strong federation, and in India there is a federation which we have adopted from Canada, in which the powers are more tilted towards central government. So central government has more power than what the state governments have. But here in America there is a rigid separation of power, and there is minimal chance of interference by the central government in the state's government. When it comes to dissolving the legislature, Indian president can dissolve the parliament, okay, on the advice of prime minister. We all know prime minister can advise the president to dissolve the parliament anytime he wants, but the US president does not have such power. He cannot dissolve, the Congress consisting of the Senate and House of Representatives. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this video. Hope you have understood it very comprehensively. If you want to, if you want to have some more knowledge about this, you can find a video in the link which will be, given at the end of this video. So thanks for watching and have a great day. Thank you.